Hey guys, welcome back from the week of Mortgage Matters in Minutes. Again, I'm your host, Brent Rasmussen, owner of Mortgage Specialists. Today's episode title might be a little confusing, but we've had this recently happen in the Nebraska area, which isn't as common as we see on the coast, obviously, but checking into disaster struck areas. And we've had massive tornadoes come through Omaha, Nebraska area here in the last few months, and that can be normal in the Midwest. While people are scared of hurricanes on the coast and floods elsewhere, we're worried a lot about tornadoes. And do they happen that often? Not necessarily, not big ones. You know, we've seen the last big tornado generally in the Omaha area hit about 49, 50 years ago. So, again, not all that common, but what does it mean to have last minute checks in disaster struck areas? So, we're going to chat about that and what it means because we've had some real estate transactions that have been affected by wind, hail, water, and tornadoes and what happens in those processes. But first, let's kind of chat about what a disaster struck area is. And that generally turns into a federal disaster area. Once an area becomes deemed as a federal disaster area by the President of the United States, then that cues for all mortgage loans that are being worked on before closing for them to be checked out. Because why do they want to be checked out? They want to make sure that the whole county wasn't, completely destroyed or that house is destroyed. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac obviously set these rules. Secondary market, FHA, VA have been through federal disasters before. All kinds, wind, flood, water, rain, tornadoes, hurricanes, you name a federal disaster. And we've seen it in the United States, obviously. So when those happen, there are special loans that are occurring for individuals that have been hit. Obviously, when Katrina occurred down in Houston, massive hurricanes allowed for people to pause their mortgage payments, allowed people to also reconstruct a house in a different area. But the reason why we're focusing on this video here today and talking about last minute checks is because you could be a day before closing. And if that today the president deems your area in a federal disaster area and you're supposed to close tomorrow, we have to have a final inspection done by an appraiser to go out to assure that the property is in normal condition. What does that mean? Obviously it's working and is as it was when you decide to purchase the house, working windows, working walls, working roofs, all the above. And sometimes appraisers don't necessarily know if the house is in working condition or not. Might need to work with the seller, to work with the insurance company, to get adjusters and get contractors out there. And it can get very complicated. So the gist of the update here this week is when there's acts of God that happen, we all have to have patience. We did a video a few weeks back about being prepared and having your house well documented with the items that you have of personal property. But also in this scenario, that we can't control when the hail comes, the tornado, the water, the hurricane. None of us can control that. And it's a super inconvenience. Just like when you're driving down the street and you get hit by another vehicle, was it your fault? Maybe, maybe not. But especially when it's not much fun to deal with the claim. If you became injured and seeing doctors, you have to take your vehicle into the shop. You have to go rent a car. You have to wait for the repairs to be done. There's lots of inconveniences that happen. And those inconveniences can carry over into the housing market. We have a few clients right now that are working to get houses back up in order. And we have people that claim adjuster says this is the damage, and this other contractor says this is the damage. And these numbers could be very big, from 50 to a couple $100,000. And in regards to those massive dollar amounts, you want time on your side to make sure things are getting done accurately versus rushing through and maybe finding out that something didn't get accomplished. Coming back and opening that claim later is not as easy as one might think. But in the lending world, we are going to, again, send someone out to ensure the property is done and is actually complete. And most of the time, appraisers will get a map of the area, just like your insurance, and say, hey, this is where the tornado went through town. Here's where the hail damage went through town. Here's where the disaster occurred at. If you're outside of that area, if they go to the property, usually it's fine. But if you're in the heart of that window and you're working on a loan at that point in time, whether it's a refinance or you're buying someone's house, we're going to have some last minute hoops to jump through, unfortunately. And again, it's to protect you, the consumer, and protect the lender. That agreement that you are willing to make that mortgage payment is going to work for both parties. Because again, if you move in and more water damage occurs, which causes mold and issues, you're not going to want that property. You're going to back out of the transaction and go into foreclosure, and the lender nor you wants that to happen. So going through these double and triple checks at the last minute is in everyone's best interest. But we're always here to help answer, and we get lots of questions this time of year between insurance agents and mortgage professionals and claim adjusters and contractors is what's going on. And there's a lot of moving parts because when many properties get damaged, there's not enough people to stop what they've currently been working on and go over here and work on some house that they weren't prepared for. So there's lots of issues, and every spring, obviously, as lenders, we don't wish among any kind of storms. We hate to see them come through because not only does it slow down the process, but it's a super inconvenience for everyone involved, including ourselves. We don't get paid more because a disaster comes to town. We're doing extra work just to making sure everything gets accomplished. So if there's anything we can answer for you, reach out, call us at Mortgage Specialists. Also, like and subscribe, comment here below, comment on these live videos, and let us know what questions you guys have that we can help answer here on this video session or in a face-to-face appointment via Zoom or on a phone call. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you very soon, and make it a great one. Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.